everybody. It's, I'm in Herod from Craftiness, and it's Thursday, which means I'm going to be jelly printing today. If you don't know, Craftiness is a paper craft store in the Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, and we sell all things paper and a little bit of stuff for resin. So today, I'm going to jelly print, but I got super inspired by Birgit. Am I saying that right again? Birgit's tag book today. I've always loved her tag book. She's on Instagram, and she does these really beautiful, she's a jelly printing master, but she does these tag books that I find very compelling. So I thought I'd start a tag book today. And so I'm going to start. How about I turn this over so you can see what I'm doing? All right, so I'm going to start by cutting some tags. And so I'm using my vintage, at this point, Sizzix tag and book plate die from Tim Holtz. I've had this a very long time. I don't know, he does now, he has a whole different, this is weird. He has a whole different die set now for his tags, one that has all these different sizes and stuff, which is also very useful. And I do sell it here in the store. I don't know if they put this tag one out anymore or not. I should probably check. Anyway, I'm going to cut a couple of tags, and if I were being more careful, I could cut the, here, I'll do a couple right now. What are those called, the little hole protectors?
Reinforcements?
Reinforcements? Oh, crap. Watch yourself, Lanyard. We had a Sizzix conversation yesterday, exciting stuff coming out from them the first quarter of January of 2022. They've got some fun stuff. Can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you that it's cool.
We have some spellbinders on steel wool die tags, and also Tim Holtz.
Oh yeah, we have lots of tags for sure. But if you want this particular one, I think you have to buy the new Tim Holtz tag set, which has a bunch of different sizes. I don't think they do this book plate one anymore. So I'm going to start with these three. I'm going to leave the machine here, though, just in case I decide that I want to do more. Hopefully you can see, yesterday I was doing a demo with this white paper on this white table, and someone was like, can't really see it. I get that. So here are the reinforcements that come from this as well. There's also a little book plate and stuff like that. It's a nice set. And so I cut three. Oh, you know what? My light's not on. There we go. So I'll put that aside. I'll put that aside. And then the size I'm going to use today for my jelly printing is the 5x7. It's one of my favorites because it's so manageable. And let's see. I'm going to pull, I have a cart with my most used stencils on it. The problem with the jelly plate is that after a while they're just not square anymore. So if you're a little anxious about that sort of thing, it's going to drive you crazy. Let's see. So I'm going to just start with my favorite stencil because I feel like it. Right now it's this quote stencil from the Crafters Workshop, and I love it. And so I'm going to start with some color through the stencil, and then I'm going to let it dry for a second. If I let it dry, it then becomes an acrylic decal on top of the stencil plate or the jelly plate. And in the same way that you can pull it off of your brayer later on or your silicone tool later on as a sheet, that's what we're kind of wanting to have happen here, is that we let it dry a little bit and then we roll another color on top of it, and that color picks it up. And you know, I just grabbed my random bucket of paints. These are actually, most of these are paints I do not carry in the store yet. And you know, we always debate whether or not I should use things that we sell in the store versus stuff that I'm considering selling. Today I voted for considering selling so that I could try them out. Actually, let's see, how dry is this? Dry enough, Ingrid. So I'm going to do two things. One is that I'm going to just do a quick pull, but I'm going to be really careful about it. I'm just pulling off the excess paint so that it dries a little faster, and I still have quite a bit of an impression there. So now this is going to be a ghost print. I'm going to daub another color on top, and then at this point I'm going to try not to brayer it too much because I don't want to brayer it away. The brayer itself might pick up the imagery if I brayer too enthusiastically. I can tell you right now that's too much blue paint. I want a thin layer that will act as glue. All right, now here's the only thing about working with tags is that the tags are smaller than the plate. So if you're gonna pull, using another sheet. This is some deli paper. And so you can already see that it was too much paint. It blows. Yeah, so the blue kind of obscured the writing. I mean, I still got an impression, which is cool. And now I have this ghost print that I can maybe come and pick up like this. Yeah, I love the ghost prints. That's kind of fun in its own way. All right, so that's a good start. Let's see what we do next. Yeah. All right, here's another one that I really enjoy. I'm going to put it down backwards. Don't forget that that's what we want to do. And I'm just going to roll on some of that paint that was left over on my brayer, because why not? And then I'm going to use another color. Oh, that's too much. How do you put paint back in the tube?
Oh. Suck it back up.
Yeah, I'm making a mess of that.
You want a palette knife or something?
I'll just use my finger.
Your finger?
My finger. I used my finger. I think that maybe that's good enough. We'll see. I'm going to use another sheet to maybe just pick up a little bit of that. So now you can see I've kind of gotten down to where that imagery is. Where's my tag? Where are my tags? Ooh, that was a little more satisfying. Hopefully you can see what's going on there. Has anyone actually joined us yet today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. All right, I'm just picking up stuff with my extra tag that was sitting there. So I've got my full coverage tags, right? The ones that I'm pulling first. And then I've been using this one to kind of pick up the extras that are hanging out on the plate.
Beth Webb says good morning.
Hey Beth, it's nice to hear your name. Hope you're doing well. Let's see what else there is. I need to start pulling some clean stencils, I think. I think that's what I should be doing.
That looks like a Dina Wakley.
It is. This is a Dina Wakley. This is a Dina Wakley.
Jack is asking if we sell the stencils we're using.
Yeah, all of them so far. The number one was a darkroom door. This one is Dina Wakley. The other one was Crafter's Workshop. So
that
yes.
That one is in on the chat.
Okay.
So I'll put the others up now.
Cool. letting this dry just a little bit, thinking that maybe I might come back in and add some verbiage over this one because that's fun. So I'm just cleaning off my brayer when I do that, if you're wondering. What's she doing? I'm just gonna brayer down off a little bit of this on top of that circular. Yeah, and let's see what we get out of this. Oh, you know what? I think I've used my tags, all 3 of my tags. I should have known that I'd do more than 3. All right, so I'm just going to do the back side of this one. I'm going to use a fresh piece of deli paper. Pull that off. Ooh, that worked really well, actually. Oh, yes, look at that. That's cool. Interesting effect on that one. And let's see what happens when I pull this ghost print on top of the bits that I've been using before. Some of these jelly printing artists that you might see on Instagram, they're just throwing stuff around and putting things down on top of each other, and I can't quite bring myself to put sort of wet paint back down on top of wet paint, but so that's why I'm using like fresh deli paper. But look, that's coming together. That's cute, right? Cute little background. Let me see. I'm going to actually pull some of that blue that I plunked over here when I All right, nice level layer. And I'm going to do something a little different. So here's another number die. I'm going to put it face down. And this time I'm going to use a baby wipe to just, roughly wipe that away. Now, of course, that baby wipe is dirty, making my hands dirty. And then that's the sort of thing that can ruin a jelly print, is the crusty bits. So that is one thing to be aware of. If you drop something onto your plate, you might want to pull that up as quickly as you can. All right, let's see what we get when we do this. I'm going to use the back of this one. I actually think that what I need to do is pull up, that's a lot of paint, and it's just light pull to pull some of that extra paint up off of it, because otherwise I don't think I'm going to get that secondary color out. Pull that off. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Really cool.
Little shadow effect. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, actually that was not my plan. My plan was to do double-sided or single-sided. All right, so I've got all my tags except this one. That one I'm going to leave single-sided. And so that means maybe cutting some more tags. So bear with me. Whoa. So I'm using my 100-pound text or cover weight. Sorry, using my 100-pound cover weight cardstock. And again, the Tim Holtz tag and bookplate die. If you have this, it's pretty sure it's vintage. And I'm just going to throw it on the die cutting machine and crank out another die. Look how easy it is to just make it instantly on the spot. Of course, I have my setup in front of me, ready to go, in anticipation of this. so there are a couple more. Let's see, whoops, that got rolled around. Fortunately, we'll use that. What am I trying to say? I don't mind this table getting dirty because I give it a good scrub and it comes right off. It's actually amazing in that way. All right, let's see what I get if I roll a little more color over this. Now remember, I know the tag's smaller than the space, so I'm really concentrating on picking up the imagery from that middle area right there. I'm getting some fun results with that. And then let's see what I get with this. Come here, give me something fun. Oh, that's okay. I think I lost some detail because the actual stencil picked up the paint that it was sitting on top of, but I got a little shadow effect of the alphabet in there somewhere. And now I have this really juicy ghost print that I can pick up. Let's see what happens if I do that. Let's see what I get. Ooh, okay, that was worth it. This is what I live for when it comes to jelly printing. Thinking there's nothing there and then realizing how much color and detail and grungy bits were left on my gel print plate. I love that moment. I love it so much. And then I have this other tag that I've been sort of building, pulling what I call cleansing pulls with, to see if I can't pick up some of that other grungy stuff that's on here. Not much left, to be honest. Okay, so how can I already be out of tags? Crazy. I think this is part of the process, right? This is the live demo experience, but also, you know, this is what maybe you would personally experience if you were sitting there and you're like, I just used up all my tags. I'm going to do a few more that are just blank on the back so that I can show you something that I think is so cool. And I'm going to start, this one I'm going to do a little ombre with. I don't know if you remember the last demo I did, I talked about ombres, and that's about how you use your brayer very carefully to keep the colors distinct from each other. Right? So I have a yellow end and an orange end. I don't go all over the place. I keep it one distinct direction on purpose. And actually what I'll just do is I'm just going to pick that up, and then we will do multiple prints on this tag to do what I want. And there's a lot of paint on that one, so what you want is that sort of oogie feeling when you pull it up. So you can see the ombre worked really well, right? And actually, yeah, it worked really well actually. Forget that sometimes a nice simple gradient from a light color to a dark color that are complementary is really pleasing. All right, there's still a lot of paint left on my brayer and on the plate, so I'm just going to do a second one. Maybe it won't be quite so distinct on this one. But actually, maybe what I'll do is pull up through this stencil, which is one way to get to, you know, do a secondary print on a, oops, that came off with this. If you can see that And now I've got some numbers and stuff on here that I can pick up maybe with this tag. And like I said at the beginning, I took inspiration today from Birgit, who is the Geli printing master. Ooh, look at that. That came out really well. Like that a lot. And she has this tag book that she makes that's just stunning. And so this is me taking inspiration from her and giving it a try myself. And yeah, I think that would be appropriate. And that you know, she actually teaches how to make the tag book. So if you're interested,
I'll post that Instagram post that you're speaking about.
Yeah, it was this morning.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So I just threw down some color and threw a stencil this time. And so I'm just going to pick this up. And as you can see, I'm getting pretty fun details on my Geli paper. There, see, just a little information or a little more color on that one that was with the ombre. Keep adding to this one, which is this one that I've been cleaning up my plate with, and look at the details I'm getting. All right, I'm going to. Oh, so this is one of my favorite stencils, but it is genuinely compromised at this point. I am not going to get anything resembling a decent imagery out of this. It's just going to be splodges and a mess. And you can see that that it's so amazingly thick that I can just chip it off. So I might give myself, this is a little like popping bubble wrap. So I might give myself some relief and do this at some point where I have to sit and listen to something for a while. So that I'm going to set aside, even though I really wanted to use it. All right, I'm going to dig down a little bit. Ooh, here's one I haven't used in a while. Or at all, looks like. It's actually perfectly clean, which is weird for me. And I had some paint left over on my brayer, so I'm just going to throw that down. And that's what I got from that. And so I'm actually going to throw that down on top of this one because it didn't have a lot of detail.
That's such a fun stencil. Do you remember who makes that one?
That is a Crafter's Workshop mask. So it's a Crafter's Workshop stencil, but really it's a mask. And a mask,
okay,
is a little different. It's just the opposite, right? When you use a mask, the pattern comes from the white space you create with it versus the open space, right? The paint's in the open space in the stencil. The pattern here comes from the space that's left around the paint, if that makes sense. So let's see, I've got a fair number of tags here that I like. Let's see, what time is it? Almost. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm just going to show you a quick and simple way to put them together. I don't know if it's how Birgit does it, but I'm just going to show you something that is very satisfying and easy if you're looking for a quick tag book process. It will look like what Birgit does, but I don't know if it's technically what she does. All right, so there's a couple of things that could happen here. I'm actually just pressing the stencil down into the paint, and I'm just going to lift it away. And so instead of putting paint down through, I use the stencil to lift paint off. And this is what I got. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, do that thing where it becomes a decal. And then I'm going to fill in the background with some red, but because I want it to be thin, I'm not putting it directly on my Geli plate. I've put it on my sidekick page, which is just, you know, a page next to me where I've been cleaning off my brayer. and I've layered, that way I can roll the paint onto my brayer in a thin line already. Oh, see, it picked up some of the pattern. So I don't know if I'm going to get a very good impression off of this one, but we'll see. I'll choose that edge this time. And actually, I'm not going to pull all that. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't get a lot of distinction there, but it's still kind of fun. The reason I left that is that I thought, oh, I'll just use this to pick that up. Yeah, so a lot going on that one. Okay, so this one came out a little meh, so I'm going to do a quick. So now I'm going to use this the other way. I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to roller something onto it.
And who makes that cool stencil?
This is the Crafters Workshop again. Almost all of my 12 by 12 stencils is Crafters Workshop. I have a couple from Finnebear and Prima that are 12 by 12, but for the most part it's Crafters Workshop. Okay, so now I've got a little contrast going on that. I'm going to pick up a little bit with this one, add a little bit of color with that one, pick up some on that one. See how it, I'm just layering up on these things, adding a little more depth. There's something really fun about polka dots in particular too, when you throw them down on top of something. They just add a little oomphiness. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is, and some of these are not completely dry, and here I do want to show you this, and I'm going to roll it onto this so you can see, but sometimes what's left on the brayer can be really fun too. I don't know if you can see that there's a little bit of the pattern left there. And now my brayer's got gungy bits that have its, makes its own pattern. All right. Okay, so there's the best craft tape ever, and some glue. So that's it's George. It's my husband's at the door. Would you? Thank you, Kendall. So here's an easy way to start creating a book. You're going to take your craft best tape ever, and you are going to glue tape two of your tags next to each other. Like that. All right, so now you've got a little bit of a hinge. And then you're going to do it again with another two next to each other. And you could use, if you want to be a little more professional about it, you could use bookbinder's tape, which might have a little more sturdiness to it. You could use another piece of paper and glue it on so that you really have a really good hinge. And then, so now I have two, right? Now, this is the basis for creating a big tag book. I've got two tags hinged together, and I've got two sets of those. And now I'm going to glue the back of one tag to the back of another tag. If I could do it in a way that creates an accordion book. If you do that, I hope you do it intentionally and not by mistake. But just going to go ahead and glue the backs of the two tags together, line them up, and then now I have the beginnings of a tag book. If I do two more together and then glue them down, and then two more together and glue them down, this will just get thicker and thicker and thicker, and then I'll have a tag book to flip through. All right, hopefully that seems accessible and easy. It's a fun thing to do with your tags, and then you have a little you know, pre-made, pre-decorated art journal to maybe go in and write or put down thoughts or just look at, because that's what we like to do with our art journals, right? All right, everybody, that's it for me today. Hope you were inspired. Everything I use except some of the paints we sell at the shop. So come on in, we'll show you the Geli printing section, and I hope you get crafty in some way today. All right, bye everyone.